Directorate of Public Relations of the Australian Army presents War Correspondent. Your name is Mike McCann. You're a war correspondent. For the people of this atomic time who know that peace belongs only to the prepared, you tell these stories of the Australian Army on active service. Your name is Mike McCann, war correspondent.
I'm Mike McCann. It's often argued among ex-servicemen that this unit or that unit of the 2nd AIF was the first body of Australians to hit back at the Japanese. It's not generally remembered that the claim to that honour can be rightly made by a small group of Australians commanded by Captain D.T. Lloyd of Hunters Hill, Sydney, a member of the 2nd 30th Battalion in Malaya. They struck their blow in a most unorthodox fashion and with brilliant results, and the tactics they used in those early days in Malaya were later adopted and perfected by Australian jungle fighters. Although it's not now recorded who was the first Australian to shoot at the Japanese, it is known that he was a member of a platoon commanded by Lieutenant R.E. Sanderson of Forbes, New South Wales, an officer serving in the 2nd 19th Battalion in Malaya, who volunteered to join the force raised by Captain Lloyd. Close by was another platoon commanded by Lieutenant M. Perring of Manila, New South Wales, an officer of the 2nd 18th Battalion. The honour could have belonged to any of the Australians in that unusual force. But at that time, they weren't seeking honour. They were seeking to disconcert and delay the Japanese on their powerful drive south towards Singapore. On December the 8th, 1941, the Japanese invaded Malaya, and with the initiative strongly in their hands, began to roll back the Allied forces on the peninsula.
Battalion all present and correct, sir. Thank you, Sir Major. Battalion, stand it, please. Stand easy. Now, men, I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. And I want you to think over what I say and make your decision with your eyes open. You all know that 3 days ago the Japanese landed in Malaya and have already made substantial gains. I have in my hand an instruction from our headquarters, which, it is hoped, will eventually mean that we'll give the Japanese a rude shock. The instruction has been issued to commanders of Australian battalions in Malaya, asking that volunteers be called for to join a special unit, the nature of which for the present will be kept a close secret. But I can tell you this, it will be a unit demanding courage, skill and endurance. Remember that. Courage, skill, and endurance. Now, I don't want to deter any man who wishes to join, but I want you to make your decision with your eyes open. This will be no picnic for the men in this secret force. No fun and games, no loafing round Singapore. It'll have no place for weaklings or men likely to crack under stress. And the training will be tough, mighty tough. Now, any volunteers?
From that parade in the heavy rain, from Australian units stationed in the southern part of Malaya, stepped forward men, privates and officers to join this venture into the unknown. Men from the 2nd 19th, 2nd 20th and 2nd 30th Battalions volunteered and joined Lieutenant Sanderson. Men from the 2nd 18th, 2nd 26th and 2nd 29th volunteered and joined Lieutenant Perring. They marched out from their battalions to come under the command of Captain Lloyd in this strange new formation known as Rose Force.
So this is Rose Force. Lovely, isn't it?
Well, nobody forced you into it, Dick. Go in with your eyes open, the Colonel said.
I know what he said, Sport. But I didn't think I'd find myself standing up to my chin in slimy Malayan mud. The alligators will get us before the Japs do.
Courage, skill and endurance is what the CO said. Remember that, Dick?
Listen, Knocker White. I know what the CO said. I remember all that. But what I'm saying now is, I don't remember him saying anything about wading through swamps and mud up to your ears and mosquitoes eating you alive.
Tough, he said it'd be.
Yeah.
Tough.
And sleeping out in the jungle with rain coming down on you, like they had a fire hose on you.
No weaklings, the CO said.
Living on iron rations. Not even a cup of warm tea. And tramping miles across mountains.
No picnic, the CO said.
Listen, Sport, I know what the CO said. What I'm saying is he didn't say nothing about having to swim across crocodile rivers, loaded with rifles, knives, pistols, grenades and ammo.
That's right, Dick. The CO said there'd be no fun and games, no loafing around Singapore.
Loafing around Singapore? We can't even show ourselves in front of a native campong. We're more mysterious than the Invisible Man.
What did you expect, Dick? The CO didn't paint any attractive picture when he asked for volunteers.
Attractive picture, Knocker. He kept the picture well hidden. He didn't lift the veil on this plot.
Well, don't blame him. Wouldn't have got any volunteers if he'd told them we were going to do this kind of training. Anyway, you know what Captain Lloyd said. If a man doesn't feel up to it, now's the time to get out.
What are you talking about, you great ape? I'm not getting out. You get some silly ideas in that scone of yours. Oh, I felt a bit of solid earth under me then. Oh, must be getting near the other side of this swamp. Oh, but...
Hey, Dick, give us your hand. Oh, they ought to give you a banjo. You look like one of them nigger minstrels.
Very, very funny. But excuse me if I don't bust my sides laughing. Yeah, you've got a peculiar sense of humour, Knocker. Laughing at a joker when he sinks down under this stinking mud.
Give us your hand and dry your eyes.
Yeah.
There's Major Rose having a gig at you too.
Yeah.
Over there through the mangroves. Laughing his head off.
Yeah. He ought to be laughing. Thinking up this stunt. Oh, why doesn't he go back to his Argyle and Southern Highlanders? Rose Force. They call the thing after him and get Australians to man it.
Oh, no, be fair there, Dick. Major Rose is coming with us as an observer.
Yeah. To observe how we get knocked off by the Japs.
Stop your whinging. He's coming to observe how we knock the Japs off. And then we've got 3 guides for both platoons.
Sure. 25 Australians in each platoon. And 3 Malayan planters as guides. Oh, it's a real empire show.
Look, Dick, if you don't like it, you can get out. You know that?
Who's talking about getting out? Just expressing an opinion. Oh, I can do that, can't I? No rule against that in Rose Force, is there?
I suppose not.
Right. Well, I'll go right on doing it.
Until the Japs stop you.
Japs stop me? Yeah, don't be Uncle Willie.
Hey.
What do you think I joined this outfit for? I'm going to stop the Japs. They're not going to stop me. Be your age, Sport. Oh, that's better. Oh, firm ground this time.
Yeah, another swamp crossed. Phew. She's on the bugle, isn't it?
Yeah. Like everything else in Malaya. It stinks. Heat, mosquitoes, rain. Scratch yourself and you start a tropical ulcer. You sit down and you're immoral to get bit by a scorpion. Yeah, well, we check the weapons now, don't we?
Yeah, that's the drill. As soon as you leave the water or mud, check your weapons for firing reliability, so you're ready for immediate action.
Yeah. Well, there's one that's okay. The kukri. Oh, these are lovely knives, Knocker. Sharp as a razor, and they've got a lovely balance.
Sure have. And one of those Gurkhas can whip a Jap's head off with one swing.
Hey, did you hear that one about the Gurkha who crept up behind a Jap and swung his kukri at him? And the Jap said, "Ha ha, you missed."
And the Gurkha said, "You think so?" Well, don't shake your head because it'll fall off. Sure, I heard it. My old man used to tell it after the last war. Only it was Germans, then, not Japs.
The way I heard it was a Jap, and they told me it's fair dinkum. Well, the cookeries, Jake. 1 Tommy gun, mud spotted, but okay. 1 .38 pistol, clean as a whistle. 2 Bakelite grenades. No, they look okay to me.
Yeah.
How's your Bren, Knocker?
Sweet as a mother's kiss. Only I needed some Japs to fit in the sights.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Here we are, wading through mud and slush, busting ourselves at all this training, and the Japs are heading south like a bushfire.
They certainly are. Heading towards Ipoh now. Getting stuck into the Indians.
Yeah, she's a real schmozzle, isn't it? Outside makes us stand and slows the Japs up. The next thing, the Japs spread out and coming around behind our lines. And that's thing. Yeah, it's like trying to stop a river with a shovel and a load of sand.
That's now. Wait till we get cracking.
The way things are going, it'll be all over before we can get at them. Or I'll be sweated away. I've lost half a stone in this training.
It's got you into good nick.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. But for what? For training? We had enough of that back in Aussie. Now it's the Japs we want. Oh, I'm busting to try this cookery on a couple.
You reckon we're going to get that close to them?
Well, that's what the officers tell us, isn't it? Kill quickly and wherever possible, silently. Strangle, stab, hit and run.
After we pick up any info we can.
Sure. Hit, pick up info, and then get out quick smart. That's Rose Force. Yeah, but when?
That's for the brass to decide. Well, come on. We've got another 15 miles ahead of us. The rendezvous is at midnight tonight.
Midnight? Fella should be snoring his head off by then instead of hiking through jungle and across mountains.
Save your breath. You'll need it.
Hey, listen.
Nip bombers. On their way to Singapore. Well, that's one thing we won't have to worry about. The way we're going to work, aircraft won't interfere.
No, I wouldn't bet on that. The way this war's going, anything can happen. Ah, shut up, you apes. Those monkeys up there reckon we're funny.
Oh, here comes Mr. Sanderson. What have we been doing wrong?
We're sweet, our compass reading's right.
How you doing, fellas? You've been having one of those mud beauty baths?
Yeah. Getting ready to meet those Jap geisha girls. Looks like they'll be the only Japs we'll ever see.
You're probably browned off, huh?
Oh, no. I'm just so happy we've got another 15 miles to hike, then go back to our camp.
Not today, Private Steele. Exercise is off.
Off?
Off. You'll make for the road a half-mile ahead, and trucks will be there to pick you up.
Rose Force isn't scrubbed, sir.
Scrubbed? No, not by any means. We've got our first job, that's all. We're about to see some action.
So, less than a fortnight after the Japanese entered the war, the Australian Special Force was ready, trained to a fine pitch to go into action. The volunteers for Rose Force had gone through jungle training that had weeded out the unfit and those likely to break under strain. And now, equipped with knives, grenades, small arms, the compact fighting force of 2 platoons was ready for the role planned, eager for the task ahead. Giving a final touch to their deadly kukris and their other weapons, they carried meager field rations and boarded trucks which carried them north along the main north-south road, through the colourful city of Kuala Lumpur, then to the coast and Port Swettenham. The Japanese drive south was continuing and threatening the northern city of Ipoh. These men were determined to throw the Japanese out of step. Armed to the teeth, trained to top fighting pitch, tutored in the way of swamp, mountain and jungle, they were ready at last to go behind the Japanese line.
The docks. This is more like it, eh, Knocker?
Yeah, Port Swettenham. Well, this is where we board the boats, eh?
This is it, Sport. Hey, how'd the boys back at the battalion be if they could see us loaded up, camouflaged and ready to get onto a couple of launches, hey? Well, they're no Prince of Wales or Repulse, are they?
No, but they're still afloat. That's more than you can say about the 2 battleships. Oh, there goes Mr. Sanderson aboard. I'll take your last look at Port Swettenham, Dick.
Last look. I'll be back, Knocker. I'll be back to have another beer in the Rex Hotel in Bartu Road, Kuala Lumpur. There'll be a couple of Japs less, I'll guarantee that. Oh, well, here goes. Well, start up the engines, Admiral. Let's get started. Yeah, get onto the other launch, will you? Mr. Perring's launch. They can't get us started.
Luckily we're not on that.
Yeah. Put a penny in it! Ah, wouldn't it? We get to the starting line and the launch engine breaks down.
Relax, Dick. Take the weight off your feet. It looks like they're going to have a look at the carby. Here, I'll give you a game of crosswords.
Half an hour they've been playing around with that motor. It's not going to start. Oh, just our stinking luck. All set, and at the last minute we get stuck up. Ah, wouldn't it?
Hold your horses, Dick. There's Mr. Sanderson talking to Mr. Perring. There's something on.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, Mr. Sanderson's coming back aboard. He's talking to the sailor. Looks like we're underway. We're casting off. Moving, sport. How's that?
And leaving the other platoon behind.
Yeah, on our Pat Malone. Well, that suits me. Hang on to your hat. River Trong, here we come.
The blight which had fallen on affairs in Malaya seemed to have fallen on Rose Force's first expedition. Of the 2 naval launches which had been sent to Port Swettenham to carry the Australians north, only one would start. And so, instead of being 2 platoons in strength, 1 platoon set off to land behind the Japanese lines north of Ipoh at the River Trong. And at dawn on February the 27th, the first Australians to hit back at the Japanese crept into enemy territory.
This is where we land, Dick.
Yeah. I see now why they had us training through all that mud. Looks like we do a hike through this mangrove stuff.
That's right. Funny to think about, isn't it? Somewhere across there, past that jungle, the Japs are probably sitting around snug as bugs in a rug, reckoning they're as safe as a bank.
That's life, sport. You reckon you're safe? Bingo! Next thing you're an entry in the Undertaker's ledger.
Cheerful. Here we are.
This mud tastes the same as the stuff we trained in.
What'd you expect? Vanilla flavour? Now keep your Tommy gun out of it and get weaving. We've got a way to go. Keep down. Mr. Sanderson's giving us the drum. We must be getting near the road. Listen.
Yeah, that's the road all right, just ahead. That means the village, that Trong village, is about half a mile away.
Hell with the village. It's the road we want. We've had more Japs on it than a dog has fleas. Yeah, Mr. Sanderson signalling again. Now keep well down. And there's the road.
And here are 25 Australians with itchy trigger fingers.
Funny, you know. I suppose at this time, back in Aussie, they'll be looking up at the clock in the office and saying, time for a beer before lunch.
Yeah, well, they can have it for mine. This'll do me. This is what I've been waiting for. Hey, shh.
No good.
Yeah, empty truck. Only a Jap driver. No, we haven't come this far to give ourselves away for one lousy truck.
You're right. And a truck they've pinched from some Malayan, too, by the look of it. Still got the Perak state number plate on it. Shh. Something else coming.
Japs. Get onto 'em, Knocker, will you? Japs by the bagful. Oh, I'd like to give 'em a burst.
Too many, Dick. There'd be 100 of them. Probably a lot more coming behind them, too.
That's what we're here for, sport. kill Japs.
And to get info too, Dick. That's important. These Japs wouldn't have the time of day on them. Look at them. I think they're off to a football match.
Not in Melbourne. They get dressed up to go to the football in Melbourne.
Must be a ragtime old army, this Jap army. Football Guernseys, civvy hats, sand shoes. Anything goes.
Yeah. Most of it looks like they've picked it up on the way down. Looks like looted stuff to me.
That's the way it is, all right. Push bikes, baskets, rifles slung anyhow. Ragtime is right.
They might be better off than our own blokes. March around like overloaded Christmas trees with big boots and greatcoats, respirators and blankets. Oh, it makes me sweat to think of it.
These Japs sure travel light.
So do monkeys. And they look like monkeys. They sound like monkeys. Oh, I'd like to give them some hurry up with this Tommy gun.
It's a temptation, all right, Dick. But there they go. That's the last. Well, now we lie here and wait for a general or two to come along, prancing on their white chargers.
Sometimes you talk real silly, Knocker. They don't have white chargers in the Jap army. Suppose the nearest they'd have would be a rubber-tired rickshaw. How much longer are we going to lie here? Looks like all we're going to get are a few Japs on push bikes. Great, isn't it? And all that training.
We don't want to go off half-cocked, Dick. Something will come along.
Oh, yeah. The Emperor of Japan and his geisha girls. Hey, did you hear that? Be another empty truck, I suppose.
Shh. More than one truck in this lot. Mr. Sanderson's giving the signal to be ready.
Ready? I've been ready for the past hour. A car, Knocker. A Jap staff car.
And trucks behind it. This could be it.
It is! Mr. Sanderson's put his thumb up. Here we go, mate! That grenade swerved the car right off the road. Jap officers in it too, Knocker. It's capsized.
We'll give the trucks a burst, Dick. 3 of them in a ute. Pour it in on.
Mr. Sanderson's jumped onto the road. He's giving the staff car a burst. That's the way, sir! Give him a real dose of lead poisoning!
The first 2 lorries have gone over the embankment, Dick. The 3rd lorry's still there. Well, there goes the ute over the bank now.
The Japs are scattering.
I can see some down behind the bank there, Dick. I'll give him a grenade.
Oh, very, very, very nice. As the pommies would say, lovely grub.
Get a load of the ribbons on those Jap officers in the car, Dick. I reckon there's a general among them.
Hey, Mr. Sanderson's onto something. He's opening their satchels. They've got a whole load of maps and stuff.
That's what we were after.
Yeah, well, he's got enough of it. Enough of it to keep the brass happy for weeks. They can have the documents. Me, I'm happy. 1 staff car, 3 trucks, 1 ute and a whole mob of Japs. Oh, I don't mind having trained through that mud and stuff now.
No. You're right now. Looks like we're getting ready to move out.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
It sure does. This could be the most unhealthy spot in Malaya any time from now.
I endorse your remark. Yep. Mr. Sanderson's giving us a high sign. Let's scram. Jap bombers headed this way, Knocker. Yeah, lucky we're ashore.
For Kuala Lumpur, probably, Dick. Not for this quiet harbour in Port Swettenham.
Yeah, I hope so. There's our flotilla out there, ducks sitting up ready to be shot.
As our comrades, the British, put it, Dick. Not to worry, chum. Those Jap bombers aren't interested in Rosefoss.
No? Maybe the Japs like the idea of us being able to cruise up the coast and land behind their lines.
They don't know where we came from.
You kidding? They got enough info about our movements to publish a daily newspaper on it.
You could be right, Dick. I don't like the way those bombers are circling round up there.
Right above our boats.
Yeah.
Tell you one thing. I don't know what those bombers are up to, but I'm mighty glad I'm lying here on land watching instead of being aboard.
Me too. Yeah, it's on, Dick. Our boats are the target.
Well, wouldn't you bet on that? The Japs are out to stop us. And how can they do it otherwise? They've got to do our boats over.
And that's what they're doing. Right before our eyes.
They haven't done it yet.
No? Keep watching.
that ship, Dick?
Yeah. And maybe I'm pessimistic, but I'd say there goes Rose Force too.
You don't agree?
No? Well, without boats, I don't see how we're going to get behind the Jap lines unless we swim there. No sport. It was fun while it lasted, but I'm afraid the game's over.
Dick was right. The Japanese sent their bombers to destroy the Australian commando's small fleet. They sank the depot ship and 5 other vessels which were destined to expand the behind-the-lines activities of these daring men. Rose Force was disbanded. The men returned to their units, the lesson they provided was passed on, and later, in other fields of battle, the technique used by those first Australians to hit back at the Japanese was to play a large part in the defeat of the enemy.
War Correspondent, recorded by Robert Peach Productions, is presented for your entertainment by the Australian Army's Directorate of Public Relations.